أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. صدق الله العظيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ambassador Khalid Mahmood, Chairman, Board of Governors, Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. Ambassador Masood Khalid, former Ambassador of Pakistan to China. Ambassador Sohail Mahmood, Director General, ISSI. Mr. Yang Nao, Minister Counselor, Embassy of People's Republic of China. Distinguished speakers, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and very good morning. Before I begin the proceeding of the event, I would just like to begin with a happy note that all Pakistanis woke up excited and happy today because one of our son of Pakistan, he won gold medal, great Olympian Arshad, and I must request you to clap for him. And that was a great success story of today. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Institute of Strategic Studies, I welcome all the distinguished guests to today's seminar on Global Civilization Initiative. As China entered a new era under President Xi Jinping's leadership in past decade, President Xi shared his vision for a community with shared future for mankind. This vision included three key initiatives for a more peaceful and inclusive global community. Those were Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and Global Civilization Initiative. President Xi Jinping presented the idea of Global Civilization Initiative at Communist Party of China's dialogue with world political parties held in Beijing on March 15, 2023. The title of the speech in Beijing was "To Join Hands on the Path Towards Modernization." The four key principles of Global Civilization Initiative include respect and acceptance of diversity of civilizations through dialogue, common values of humanity, third, importance and need of innovation of civilization, and developing people-to-people exchanges and cooperation models. Global Civilization Initiative envisages a global community where people are more interconnected, where states respect other states and people, where cultural diversity is promoted and mutual respect is upheld. During his address, President Xi emphasized that modernization is not a straight path set for a handful of countries, but rather a goal of all countries of the world. National approaches to achieving modernization, no matter different from previous approaches, should be supported for common benefit of mankind. Global Civilization Initiative is more than a policy proposal. It is a call for action for all of us to embrace a future where mutual respect, cultural exchange, and cooperative development are at the forefront of our interactions. It is an invitation to join hands and work towards a world where every member of global community contributes to a richer and more inclusive global narrative. As President Xi rightly pointed out, a single flower cannot make spring, while 100 flowers blooming make the whole garden beautiful. This is why all countries of the world should take a path to modernization, and their efforts to diversify should be respected. With this brief introduction, ladies and gentlemen, I would now invite Ambassador Sohail Mahmood, Director General of Institute of Strategic Studies, for his remarks. Ambassador Mahmood has 37 years of experience diplomatic experience. He was 30th Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, and prior to his appointment, he was High Commissioner to India. Ambassador Sohail Mahmood.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dr. Talat. Ambassador Khalid Mahmood, Chairman BOG ISSI, Ambassador Masood Khalid, Mr. Councillor Yang New, esteemed panelists, distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Let me just correct Dr. Talat by saying that almost all Pakistanis stayed awake last night to see Arshad Nadeem not only grab the gold medal but also create a new Olympic record which we hope will stay for quite some time, and indeed it was a matter of great pride for the entire nation. So congratulations to everybody. Let me also begin by warmly welcoming everyone to the Institute of Strategic Studies for this seminar on China's Global Civilization Initiatives. We are privileged to have a set of very eminent speakers from both Pakistan and China, including distinguished diplomats, academics, practitioners, and media experts. Their long-standing experience and valuable insights would enormously enrich the deliberations of this seminar. Our special thanks to our keynote speaker, Ambassador Masood Khalid, and guest of honor, Minister Councillor Yang Nu. Their expose on the context, content, and salience of GCI would be illuminating. Distinguished participants, in a world marked by polarization and conflicts, suffering from economic slowdown, experiencing reversals in realization of sustainable development goals, and facing the existential threat of climate change, President Xi Jinping has offered a new and innovative way of addressing the myriad global challenges of our times. Within a short span of 3 years, he has proposed 3 far-reaching initiatives, namely the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative, the GDI, the GSI, and the GCI. Cumulatively, these initiatives present a fundamentally different approach, indeed an alternative vision of global governance and human progress, inspired by Chinese wisdom and traditions. This vision prioritizes principle over power, security for all over absolute security for some, peaceful coexistence over competition and containment, and win-win cooperation over zero-sum equations. In essence, these are also the building blocks of what President Xi envisions as the community with shared future for mankind. As noted, President Xi Jinping presented the GCI during the CPC's dialogue with world political parties in Beijing on 15th of March 2023. The GCI emphasizes 4 aspects, as also noted by Dr. Talat. First, respect and acceptance of diversity. Embracing the diversity of civilizations through dialogue is fundamental under this point. In a world rife with conflicts, understanding and valuing different cultures and perspectives are essential for peaceful coexistence. Second, common values of humanity. The initiative promotes universal values that bind us as human beings by focusing on shared principles we can foster a more harmonious global community. Third, innovation of civilizations. Innovation is not only about technological advancements, but also about cultural and social progress. Encouraging creative approaches to modernization can help address complex global challenges. And fourth, people to people exchanges. Developing robust models of cooperation and exchanges between peoples is vital. Such interactions build mutual trust and understanding, laying the groundwork for lasting peace and prosperity. It has been noted that, in contrast to Western claims of superiority of certain civilizations and clash of civilizations, this initiative calls for upholding the principle of equality, mutual learning, dialogue, and inclusiveness. As President Xi himself noted, all civilizations created by human society are splendid. They are where each country's modernization drive draws its strength and where its unique feature comes from. He thus called upon countries to explore diversified paths toward modernization. A cornerstone of the GCI is the people first approach, linking modernization with the welfare of people and civilizations. Political integrity, cultural enrichment, social stability, and a stable life for all are essential for sustainable development. Addressing present needs while safeguarding future generations' rights is the path forward. Distinguished guests, the GCI has garnered broader support of the international community. Pakistan is among the first countries to welcome this thoughtful initiative. Building on President Xi's statement of 15th of March 2023, China earlier this year steered a resolution at the United Nations General Assembly on dialogue among civilizations, and the resolution was adopted unanimously. The resolution states that civilizational achievements are collective heritage of humankind. It emphasizes the crucial role of dialogue among civilizations in maintaining world peace, promoting common development, enhancing human well-being, and achieving collective progress. The resolution reflects the universal aspiration of countries around the world to uphold equality and inclusiveness and to maintain the diversity of civilizations. Most significantly, the resolution established 10th of June as the International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations, and Pakistan proudly supported this resolution as a member of the core group. In Chinese tradition, people and cultures play a significant role. The advocacy for people-to-people exchanges aims to expand cooperation, leading to mutual understanding and the progress of human civilization. The GCI envisions a, quote, garden of world civilizations that is colorful and vibrant. Let me conclude with the same quote from President Xi. A single flower does not make spring, while 100 flowers in full bloom bring spring to the garden. Promoting common values of humanity, peace, justice, development, democracy, and freedom is crucial. As China under President Xi has consistently stressed, the path to a peaceful global order lies in building a community with shared future for humankind. With these remarks, I welcome everyone again, and we look forward to valuable contributions of our esteemed speakers. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your candid remarks. I would now request Ambassador Masood Khalid for his keynote address. Ambassador Masood Khalid joined Foreign Service of Pakistan in 1979 and is the longest serving ambassador of Pakistan to China. We served from 2013 to 2019. Sir, you have the floor, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Chairman, Board of Governors of ISSI, Ambassador Khalid Mahmood, Director General ISSI, Ambassador Suhail Mahmood, Mr. Yang Nu, Minister Counselor of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Dr. Talat Shabir, Director of the China-Pakistan Studies Center, Madam Chiang, good to see you. Dr. Tahir Awan, our friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Well, I think that Ambassador Suhail Mahmood has already highlighted the three initiatives which have been launched in recent years by the Chinese government, and this is after the landmark initiative of BRI, which was introduced in 2013 by President Xi Jinping. So, as has been mentioned, first one was the Global Development Initiative, or GDI, then the Global Security Initiative, and today we are discussing Global Civilization Initiative, or GCI. All these four initiatives, in my view, form an integrated whole, reflecting China's wholesome perspective and a holistic approach to issues of peace and development, and to the myriad other issues faced by the international community. Ambassador Suhail Mahmood rightly mentioned this is a different approach by the Chinese leadership to issues of global governance. BRI plus these three initiatives have been welcomed by a majority of countries, mostly those in the global south, who find a reflection of their aspirations for peace and development in these initiatives. At the United Nations, the groups of friends comprising member states have been formed in support of these initiatives, and the UN Secretary General has welcomed these initiatives, including GDI, which aims to supplement the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. Of course, Pakistan is an active partner in BRI through CPAC and has lent its full support to the Chinese initiatives. The Global Civilization Initiative, or GCI, is a logical corollary of the two earlier initiatives, that is GDI and GSI, centered on the vision of a common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security for all, big or small, fostering a world which is equitable and fair. GCI advocates for recognizing the diversity of civilizations and the common values of humanity, enshrined in the principles of mutual respect, harmonious coexistence, and mutual learning, transcending clashes, in contrast to which Ambassador Suhail Mahmood also alluded to, the much hyped theories of clash of civilizations, or the superiority of one civilization over the other. Secondly, GCI stresses dialogue over confrontation or coercion, and for bonding different civilizations and cultures to promote common development of mankind. The emphasis is on common development, shared prosperity. The initiative is rooted in the Chinese wisdom articulated by President Xi Jinping when he stated, and I'll repeat this, Ambassador Suhail Mahmood also quoted this very nice proverb. Dr. Talat Shabir also said, so you have to understand that a lot of this proverbial Chinese wisdom is reflected in these time-honored idioms and proverbs. So I will like to quote it in full. A single flower, please try to understand the spirit of this proverb. A single flower does not make spring, while 100 flowers in the full blossom bring spring to the garden. So this is the concept, this is the motivating factor, this is the spirit behind GCI. Thirdly, recognizing the universal aspiration for globalization to be a positive force in international affairs, China calls on countries to explore diversified paths towards modernization, premised on shared prosperity for all, treading the path of material and cultural and ethical advancement. China's own model of modernization, resulting in elimination of absolute poverty from the society, is a beacon of hope and guide for the poor and developing countries. China is prepared to share the fruits of its development with partner countries, but without imposing its model on others. China is not seeking to supplant the international order, as alleged by some Western analysts. It is striving to create a just and fair international order where all thrive on the basis of win-win outcomes. Fourthly, China calls for a new model of international relations, which is based on the UN Charter and takes into account the transformation which has occurred on the global landscape since the end of the Second World War, when the United Nations and Bretton Woods institutions were created. Chinese leaders have made it clear that China will, and this is important, that China will never follow the old path of colonization or plunder, which characterized the Western imperialism of the 17th and 18th centuries. Amidst turmoil and growing disorder, therefore, GCI seeks to foster dialogue and inclusiveness amongst diverse communities through cultural exchanges over rifts and estrangement, and people-to-people connectivity as a means for economic and cultural integration of societies. GCI is a reincarnation of continuity, characterizing ancient Chinese culture with the fabled Old Silk Road as the epitome of its rich civilization, and which is now more manifest in its project of the century, the Belt and Road Initiative. Distinguished guests, the Communist Party of China, or the CPC, held its important third plenum of the Central Committee in July 2024, this year. The meeting undertook a comprehensive review of the domestic and external situation, complex international environment, performance of Chinese economy and concomitant challenges, and laid out a comprehensive framework or a blueprint to achieve the targets of national rejuvenation by 2049, when China, modern China or new China, will be completing the 100 years of its founding. Specific short-term, medium-term, and long-term targets were fixed by this plenum. The party made it clear that China will adhere to the path of reform and modernization, which commenced in 1978 and 79 under Deng Xiaoping's leadership. So there is no going back on that commitment and that forward policy. But the process of reform and opening up will be sustained through Chinese way of modernization, in line with national conditions and socio-cultural imperatives and ethos of the society. The emphasis is on a people-centric approach of reforms with concrete outcomes and deliverables. So it was decided that by 2035, China will be a high standard socialist market economy. And in the next 5 years, we talk of 5-year plans, in the next 5 years, by 2029, the government will achieve all the reform tasks which have been set by the party in this plenum. So there is a roadmap, there is a blueprint to achieve the national targets by 2035 and to convert China into a fully modern and prosperous society by 2049, when China completes its 100 years of new China. But in the next 5 years, there will be progressive implementation of the task reform measures which have been agreed to by the party. So the Chinese nation appears determined to achieve national targets of rejuvenation, notwithstanding the strong headwinds and the choppy waters. And this is also a quote from President Xi Jinping's speech. The Chinese nation appears determined to achieve national targets of rejuvenation, notwithstanding the strong headwinds and choppy waters, and the skepticism expressed in certain Western circles about its ability to do so. China has acted with responsibility in international system. China's model of diplomacy is based on harmony, peaceful coexistence, and a balance in global order. Chinese leadership is pragmatic and acknowledges that China's progress hinges upon the progress of humanity. The interdependence of Chinese and Western economies defies the logic of decoupling as espoused by some. GCI is a major initiative by China to promote intercivilizational harmony through dialogue and conciliation and communication. The initiative provides a new avenue for multilateral cooperation amidst global strife, compounded by xenophobic tendencies, religious discrimination, Islamophobia, racial and ethnic profiling. So the GCI would help in reversing or arresting these negative trends. At the policy implementation level, China has been quite active in hosting multilateral events like the Conferences on Dialogue of Asian Civilizations, dialogue between Chinese and African civilizations, and Chinese and Greek civilizations, and holding Chinese and Arab arts festivals, etc. It has established over 3,000 sister city relationships with foreign countries, including with Pakistan. And I will not repeat what Ambassador Suhail Mahmood has already mentioned, that at the 78th session of the UN General Assembly last year, a Chinese resolution was adopted unanimously to mark June 10th as the International Day for Dialogue amongst Civilizations. Ladies and gentlemen, in concluding, I would like to say that in a world which is greatly intertwined yet turbulent, GCI provides a viable platform for an interface of different cultures, as well as a sound mechanism for dispute resolution and for promoting mutual understanding and beneficial cooperation, and the initiative needs to be welcomed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your keynote. And ladies and gentlemen, now we turn to the three panelists that we have today for our seminar. And firstly, I would invite Ms. Xiang Yang, Director of China Study Center, National University of Science and Technology, NUST. Ms. Xiang was born in a literary family in Confucius' hometown, Shandong province, and has vast experience in field of economic, culture, education, policy, and industry. You have the floor, please.
Okay. First of all, Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends. I would like to start with one thing. Before our dear ambassador who is a superstar for China and Pakistan relationship, our dear Mr. Masood Khalid, he just said that one spring cannot make the spring. It is 一花独放不是春，百花齐放春满园. It is a poem from our Tiananmen. So after this, I would like to say today our meeting is organized by China and Pakistan Study Center. So totally there are 6 China study centers established by HEC of Pakistan in Pakistan. And I'm the one working in the capital. And there are several ones in China as well, including China Geography University, China Geoscience University, Miss Xie Xiaoqing. So totally we have several ones in China as well. Today I would like to share all of this understanding in the application field, since we are the one on the front wall of this CGI. So totally in Mr. Xi Jinping, he offered these 4 points of our Global Civilization Initiative. We would like to start with the first one, which is diversity. First of all, we mentioned that we should jointly advocate respect of the diversity of world civilizations, equality, mutual learning, dialogue, and among all the civilizations. I would like to give a story. 65 years before century, BC 65, in China history, we have a written book which is called 史记. It's written that Han Mingdi, Han dynasty, there was an emperor whose name is Han Mingdi. One day in the morning, he was asking his prime minister. At that time, prime minister is working for the king. So he asked him, last night I had a dream. There was a golden city, beautiful, shining like this design and that design. What is that? Prime minister at that time answered Han Mingdi, my dear boss, this is the city of Jantulo, which is Peshawar, Pakistan. So Han Mingdi was shocked. Actually, let's go to the history written 67 BC from Afghanistan. In Kanishka time, which is Kushang dynasty, Kushang the second emperor, Kanishka as one of the most famous king, he sent 2 ambassadors to go to China to advocate and to bring civilization exchange with Chinese. So we can imagine the friendship and the civilization never ever vanished. From the beginning and from the root, we are one. We are mankind, and we naturally share the same civilization. For the second one, cultural heritage and innovation. Today, as the China Study Center, who is the application part playing the role in this cultural exchange, I would like to inform everyone that we successfully bring 11 teams from Thailand, like Ms. Mango sitting over there, and all around China to Pakistan to do one thing, to bring MIP concept to China. What is MIP? Made in Pakistan. Do you know how much for a miswak in China? It's not possible for 1.4 billion people to understand miswak used for what simultaneously. But it is possible for Chinese people to understand the civilization, starting with the toothpaste which extract from the miswak. Civilization is never a hollow thing. It has carrier, which we call product. So 11 teams from China use TikTok, China TikTok, 快手, small red book, 小红书, including every software, to bring the different culture from Pakistan handcraftman to China market. Simultaneously, they are bringing embroidery silk and some other things, including laser keyboard, which is China innovation based on our civilization to Pakistan. 11 teams, one day selling amount is 5 million RMB. The amount and money does not count, but bringing dollars to our craftsmen. This is the real application way to bring civilization from one to another. This is culture in heritage and innovation. And number 3, let's go to the common value of mankind. Let us start with another story, combined with the number 4, people-to-people communication, face-to-face communication. 2 days ago, in National University of Science and Technology, also in New Tech, in several universities in Pakistan, we just established a new college mode, which is called Zhenghe College. Zhenghe in Ming Dynasty. He is a hero who brings the civilization, also carrier as product, from China Ming Dynasty along the whole world. Jiangsu province, which is a developed province in China on the east shore, already made Zhenghe College as their abroad education program number 1, Zhenghe College, to bring the same idea, because at Zhenghe time Ming Dynasty, there was a huge ship bringing peace, prosperity, civilization, culture, and technology and skills from China, from the seaport, to each corner of the world. He did not invade any country. He did not force any country. He just bring peace, prosperity, and cultural exchange. Jiangsu Province 2023 approved investment in Pakistan, Zhenghe College. Fortunately, I'm also the director and the dean of this Zhenghe College. We successfully established Zhenghe College in National University of Science and Technology and New Tech. And simultaneously, on the same day, we got order from Huawei Company, ZTE Company, Fiber Home Company, and Three Gorges. We are bringing civilization from China to abroad. We are bringing civilization from abroad to China as well. Zhenghe College is one of the examples. 600 years ago, with snow, with ice, with raining, with wind, he is talking to people face to face. Nowadays, China Study Center all around Pakistan, including NUST, we are doing the same thing. Last thing we would like to share is that today, because I'm standing for the China Study Center from NUST, established by HEC, we have already did a Gandhara Research Center as well, helping the exhibition for the Gandhara products in China as well. Gandhara piece is the heritage of Pakistan, but we successfully made the duplicate, 3D duplicate, with China and Pakistan joint hand. We joint hand made a 3D machine. We made the duplicate for China tea culture table set use, and successfully obtained the whole market. So by the end, I would like to see China Study Center for China's Global Civilization Initiative. We are the application. Bahut shukriya. May Pakistan se pyar karti hoon. Pakistan dosti zindabad.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Yang, for your very interesting presentation. And now I would like to request Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan for his presentation. And Dr. Tahir Awan is a Senior Research Fellow at Center for Ethnology and Anthropology, Henan Normal University. And he's also a Visiting Fellow, World Sinology Center, Beijing Language and Culture University. Dr. Tahir, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Talat, and thank you very much, Chair. Also, my regards to Ambassador Masood Khalid Sahab and Ambassador Sohail Mahmood Sahab. I feel it a pleasure, but a little bit difficult when there are stories, and there are those stories which definitely prove this civilization and civilization, you can say, initiatives that has already been taken in Pakistan. So my talk would mainly be considering about significance, what significance we attach, or what significance China attach, Pakistan attach, and what significance the region attaches to this global civilization initiative. So from the Chinese perspective, again, it is, I would treat it as a natural extension to what they say as the community with shared future. So we are talking about this community with shared future, the Chinese perspective, which is emphasizing on respect for diversity, promotion of common human values, and encouragement of dialogue and cooperation. From the Pakistan perspective, again, we being the Pakistani citizens, we being the Pakistani nationals, it is an opportunity, it is a bright opportunity to align with the broader global narrative of the peaceful development. Yes, Pakistan is having issues, Pakistan is having some security concerns, Pakistan is having some political issues in the recent past, but still this is something, this GCI is something which can further deepen this relationship, this Pakistan-China relationship, and provide us an opportunity to play our part, play our role in improving our standing in this region. From this regional perspective, from this regional implications, it would again serve as a catalyst. The just and fair international order, which Ambassador Masood Khalid has just talked about, is something which talks about this regional implications also. So this dialogue, this initiative basically talks about the dialogue over confrontation. We have to solve the issues rather than confronting other nations, rather than confronting our neighbors, and increasing the tensions. There are some considerable points which we need to consider from the cultural diplomacy. Ms. Xiang has yet given us few of the examples, but Pakistan's cultural diplomacy has been overshadowed due to the two reasons that I have just talked about, the security concerns and the political concerns. So for that cultural diplomacy, we need to have some bilateral cultural programs. We are still lacking in, if we talk about the Pakistan side, we are still lacking these bilateral programs on both sides, on Pakistan and China side. Then again, we have to have some media collaborations. We do have collaborations. Dr. Yasser is here. I hope he'll be talking much more about it. We have collaborations with Radio Pakistan. We have FM channels already started. But again, this is just what we have seen in previous more than 70 years. And that is not enough. We need to increase, we need to improve this collaboration. Then again, language learning initiative. Still, to understand the civilizations, language is first important thing, I believe. And I have seen Chinese speaking good Urdu. I have seen few of the Pakistanis who can speak a little bit of Chinese also, but still these learning initiatives, these language learning initiatives need to be improved. Second is educational exchanges, which again, if the Higher Education Commission representatives are here, I would still say that the efforts that has been done, again, they need to be more emphasized. We have CPEC consortium of universities, but again, in last 10 years or 11 years, we still have much more to do. We have already started the training programs through the Higher Education Commission, and two of the delegations have already been to China. Recently, they have completed about 15 or 20 days training for the educationists from Islamabad region, and these initiatives need to be speed up so that we can have better connections. We do say that we have most of the Pakistanis who are studying in China, but again their utilization is a question. Their utilization when they are coming back to Pakistan, their utilization in China is a concern, and we need to focus on it. I am also I have 2 of my degrees from China, but again there are many of us, there are many of the graduates from Chinese universities who are not at their appropriate position, what they deserve, what they can do. So we need to focus on that as well. Curriculum development is, again, there are initiatives in Gwadar, there are initiatives in Punjab. We have a joint university, but these are only few of the examples. We need to work further. When I talk about curriculum development, it is not joint universities only. When I'm saying curriculum, it means the latest curriculum need to be replicated here in Pakistan. The curriculum that has been taught in the top universities of China. If we talk about 50 top universities in the world, 4 universities from China are already in those top 50 list. So we need to concern, being an academician, I also put my responsibility into this aspect as well. Third one is technology and innovation. We always mistake ourselves by buying a machine, bringing it to Pakistan, making it operational, running it, bringing some output, if not 100%, at least 50% of that output. But transfer of technology is the main question. So we need to have the knowledgeable, you can say, operators of those technologies in Pakistan. We don't need only machines. We need that technology to be transferred to Pakistan also, which can make better concerns. Innovation hubs is also another important concern, which I believe is important. 2 weeks ago, I came back from China and I was in the innovation hub, Hangzhou, where you see many budding startups, you see many budding technology concerns, and that kind of replication of that technology hubs is needed in Pakistan. Lastly, training programs. I talked about Higher Education Commission, Economic Affairs Division of Pakistan, then Ministry of Science and Technology. They are putting their efforts, but those people who are coming back from Pakistan, I'm trying to criticize myself. I'm trying to criticize Pakistan. Those people who are coming back from China after that 10 or 15 days of training, they need to be utilized. They need to be asked what they have learned, and they need to be put into their appropriate positions. Just not come back to your own position and again start doing that regular routine work again and again. Last point in these points to ponder, the last one is the regional stability, in which Ambassador Masood Khalid has already talked about that just and fair international order, and I would rename it, or I would use another name for that, that is the track 2 diplomacy. So we need to have that track 2 diplomacy. We need to bring academicians, we need to bring policymakers, we need to bring the experts to find out how we can have that same 5-year plan, how we can have, why our Vision 2030, Pakistan Vision 2030 is not as effective as 2035 plan of China. So we need to work on these lines, and I put my responsibility into it as well. So these are a few things which definitely can benefit, which can have its role in that global civilization initiative, and then we can say that we are a part of this Pak-China friendship and we are part of this global civilization initiative. Just not only saying that we understand this concept, but trying to play our role as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mumtaz Awan, for your presentation. And I would request now Dr. Yasser Masood for his presentation. Let me introduce Dr. Yasser. He is a Senior Research Fellow at China Global Television Network, CGTN. He is a Security and Political Analyst and Strategic Communication Expert. He has experience of working with notable media houses including PTV, the Express Tribune, CGTN. He received his PhD from University of International Business and Economics, and I'm really excited to address him as a doctor because this is your first event after your PhD. You have the floor.
Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum everybody, and thank you very much Dr. Talat Shabir. I take this podium, this platform as my own because prior to becoming a PhD doctor, I always had the opportunity to come here and express my views on different topics, and I'm grateful again today for having this opportunity. Thank you very much for your valuable views, Ambassador Suhail Mahmood, Ambassador Masood Khalid, and Ms. Xiang Yang. So I think by listening to such esteemed scholars, we already know what the GCI is all about. So that's why I will twist my topic, will take it, extend it further in the context of Pakistan, that what we can learn, what could be the strategic lessons for Pakistan in terms of while harnessing China's global civilization initiative. as it was previously mentioned, and the reason is I put it the clash of civilization in black and the clasp of civilization in white color, because the soul of the Global Civilization Initiative is that here China is creating a new world order based on mutual respect, based on harmonious world order, which is miles away from the zero-sum tactics or the world of unipolar world order which we have been living in, which has not given anything to the world except chaos, except conflicts, artificial conflicts as well. So that is why this is not the clash of civilization, rather I call it the clasp of civilizations. Now, how do I see GCI? I think it's an extension of the China's community of shared destiny, community of shared future. And the concept was rejuvenated by the ex-president of China, Mr. Hu Jintao, in 2006, when he coined this term, to have a cordial relationship with Taiwan. And then it was further extended to the rest of the world, to the neighbors and near neighbors of China. Of course, if we look back, it shows us the peaceful coexistence which is coming from the years of civilizations, emanating from the years of civilization from China. Belt and Road Initiative is the fulcrum of the community of shared destiny, is the nucleus of community of shared destiny. And as I just mentioned, that now China is creating a new world order, which is a multipolar world order, in which there is not one central corridor, there is not one central authority, but rather China is contributing to the kind of new international relations when there are different power centers in the world. I think if we want to learn something from the GCI or from the Belt and Road Initiative or from the community of shared destiny, I think a massive introspection is required. We need to ponder upon that where we have lost the plot. I think we lost our path to prosperity. And why? I believe that we have remained hostage to the West, or we have been looking to the westward for the last 75 years or so, since our inception. And we have remained hostage to Western culture, norms, traditions, taboos, to language. So what happened in meanwhile, we somehow lost our identity, and I think somewhere I read that loss of identity is a loss forever. Loss of civilization, loss of our culture, loss of our language, loss of our values, norms, and ethos, and loss of our indigenous political landscape, as well as loss of economic realms. I think that's what we have lost. So before taking baby steps and learning something from the GCI, I think it's very important that we need to recognize. We need to recognize and then move towards reconciliation. Okay, if we talk about China-Pakistan relations, we had a very robust relations in terms of economics, in terms of defense, in terms of politics. But I see that one big aspect is still missing, which is the cultural diplomacy. This is missing big time. That's why I think there is a dire need for us to cultivate better relations in terms of knowing each other's cultures, languages, norms, and values. How many translators are in Pakistan who can translate from Chinese to Urdu or from Urdu to Chinese language? There are few in numbers. And that is why I said that we have been looking towards West. When there is a huge potential next door available, unfortunately, we couldn't tap the potential, which is the rise of the East, and that is coming from China. So I think cultural diplomacy is extremely important. So how do we learn? What's in it for Pakistan? I think we learn through Pakistan's characteristics with indigenous resources. And that's what exactly China did. China learned through Chinese characteristics in their own language, in their own culture, considering its own history, its own geography, its own political landscape, and its own issues. Since we have a lot of issues, I think if we need to learn in Pakistani characteristics, using our indigenous resources, using our culture, tradition, history, geography, and the problems we are facing. Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan already mentioned few aspects that what are the areas where we can learn. I think, as I mentioned about the cultural diplomacy, there is a huge potential for the youth of both nations. We are the second youngest population in the world, and I think we can tap this potential. So we can promote cultural exchange for national progress. And of course, learning from China is extremely important, especially for the developing states, including Pakistan. Because when we talk about the developing states, I think the issues are the same. We lack resources, we lack technological infrastructure, technological know-how. So in that aspects, we can definitely learn from China's experiences. And then, rather than living in this delusion or in this kind of mental frame that actually we do a lot of mudslinging on each other, I think there is a time for us to showcase our best stories, our success stories between both nations, so that we can move forward in the right direction. We can create connections among the China and Pakistan youth. Economic development, as we know, that Belt and Road Initiative is such a gigantic initiative which is changing the destinies of many countries. Why not Pakistan? So Belt and Road initiative is, of course, is a humongous opportunity for Pakistan. Equally, Pakistan can leverage geo-economic advantages with this. And I think in this world and age where we are living now, embracing technological innovation for future growth is extremely important, because we are living in the world of technology. And China, as we know, is taking big strides in terms of technological advancement. So I think Pakistan can invest in digital infrastructure, and this can bring about digital revolution for Pakistan. Also, Pakistan is facing a huge problem in terms of its environmental changes and climate changes. So I think the way President Xi Jinping has initiated the concept of the decarbonization, I think it's a big initiative and is a living example for the rest of the world to emulate. So Pakistan can also learn from that. We can initiate green initiatives in Pakistan, and we can promote sustainable and environmental stewardship. And then we talk about reforms in Pakistan. Unfortunately, since our inception, we have been unable to do any kind of reforms. So I think we need constitutional reforms in this country. We need institutional reforms. We need educational reforms. We need economic reforms. And for that purpose, I think the institutional capacity or the role of effective governance, I think this is also an area where we can learn a lot from China. This is the last slide, Dr. Colonel Talat, and it's very important. It's my personal account that while studying in London, living there for 6 years, I came back to Pakistan. And 2014 was the first time when I landed in Beijing. Then I was working for a think tank here in Islamabad. And that changed my concept altogether about a different civilization, where I saw the ancient civilization, Eastern ethos at its best, the development model of China, and the peaceful coexistence, which is the prime principle of China's foreign policy. So it's about almost 1 decade now that I'm working on Chinese foreign policy. It has changed my life, and I think it can change the life of many others. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yasir Masood, for your very thought-provoking ideas in your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now request a guest of honor of today's event, Mr. Yang Nao, Minister Counselor, Embassy of Republic of China in Pakistan, for his remarks.
His Excellency Suhail Muhammad, Director General of the ISI, His Excellency Ambassador Masood Khalid, His Excellency Ambassador Khalid Mahmoud, Ms. Xiang, and Mr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan, and Dr. Yasir Masood. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before my address, first I'd like to congratulate for Mr. Arshad Nadim's victory and the first golden medal of Pakistan in Paris Olympic Games. I watched the match last night. It's very encouraging and very glorious. It's not only break the record of the Olympic Games, but also shows the strength and skill of the whole nation. And many Chinese share the same feeling. Congratulations. I'd like to thank the Institute for the excellent preparation of the seminar. It's my pleasure to be invited here to exchange views with the distinguished guests on the Global Civilization Initiative. I'm very much inspired by the excellent remarks made by the previous speakers who detailed their views on the GCI and their recommendations for its implementation in the next phase. And I would like to share my personal understanding and views in this regard. On March 15th, 2023, President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Civilization Initiative to the world at the CPC in dialogue with world political parties high-level meeting, which, together with the Global Development Initiative, GDI, and the Global Security Initiative, GSI, focuses on the outstanding issues in the centuries-old situation of development, security, and civilization, and provides a feasible path and solid support for the promotion of the building of a community of shared future for mankind. In today's world, multiple challenges and crises are overlapping. The world economy is struggling to recover. The development gap continues to widen. The ecological environment continues to worsen. The Cold War mentality persists, and the process of modernization of human society has once again come to a crossroads in history. At the same time, the international community has heard many murmurs of civilization superiority, clash of civilizations, and Islamophobia. The GCI was born in response to the demands of the times and has strong practical significance and value. President Xi Jinping's proposal of the GCI expresses China's sincere desire to work with other countries to advance the cause of modernization with national characteristics, promote exchanges and mutual understanding among global civilizations, and push forward the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. The GCI consists of 4 advocates, advocating respect for the diversity of civilizations, promoting the common values of humanity, attaching importance to inheritance and innovation of civilizations, and strengthening international people-to-people exchanges and cooperation. It is recommended that different civilizations should learn from each other, make common progress, work together to solve major issues affecting the future of the world and the future of mankind, and promote the progress of human civilization. Diversity of human civilizations is a fundamental feature of the world and the charm of human civilization. The progress of human civilization does not lie in the dominance of any one civilization, but in the flourishing of 100 different civilizations. Diversity brings exchanges, exchange breeds integration, and integration generates progress. The world is made more colorful by the diversity of human civilizations. We need to learn from each other, build consensus, strengthen exchanges, solidarity and cooperation, and jointly write a new chapter in the annals of diverse civilizations. Since the launch of the GCI, China has spared no effort in building a platform for dialogue among civilizations on an equal footing, and has continuously transformed the GCI from concept to practice. Thanks to the joint efforts of all parties, global civilization exchanges have become richer in content and more diverse in form, and the potential of each subject in each field has been continuously stimulated. Over the past year or so, China, together with other countries, have actively put the GCI into practice, promoted exchanges and mutual understanding among civilizations, and searched for the greatest common denominator among civilizations. We have successfully promoted the establishment of International Day of Dialogue among Civilizations by the United Nations, and successfully held the Nishan Forum of World Civilizations, the Liangzhu Forum, Understanding China Conference, Media Cooperation Forum on Belt and Road, and the Himalaya Rim International Cooperation Forum, and so on. These forums has significantly strengthened international humanistic exchanges and cooperation. In addition, the Alliance for Cultural Heritage in Asia and the Asian Fund for Cultural Heritage Conservation have been successfully established, and China has also cooperated with many countries in holding exhibitions on the entry and exit of cultural relics, promoting the protection of cultural relics in all aspects, as well as innovating and enriching the new measures for exchanges and mutual understandings among civilizations. The GCI provides new opportunities for exchanges and mutual understandings between Chinese civilization and different civilizations, making the garden of world civilization more beautiful and vibrant. Dear friends, Pakistan was an important node on the ancient Silk Road and an important part of Islamic civilization, as well as one of the cradles of the world's oldest Indus civilization. The cultural exchanges and mutual learning between China and Pakistan carry profound historical heritage and set good examples of state-to-state cultural exchanges. In recent years, the JDI, GSI, and GCI have continued to be put into practice in Pakistan, with the care and support of all sectors of the country. The National Assembly of Pakistan has established the world's first GDI group. Our two countries signed a joint statement on the joint implementation on the Asian Cultural Heritage Preservation Initiative, a memorandum of understanding on the translation and publication of Chinese and Pakistan classics, and a 5-year implementation plan for the cultural exchanges. The representatives from Pakistan attended the Global South Think Tank Dialogue Conference of World Sinologists and other activities to share Pakistan's proposals. Pakistani think tanks and medias paid close attention to the 3 global initiatives and continued to publicize and introduce them so that all sectors of Pakistani society could fully understand and realize the positive significance of the 3 global initiatives for Pakistan. And definitely today's seminar is also a very good attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, in the face of the ongoing Ukraine crisis and the growing Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the international community should strengthen solidarity and efforts to achieve peace at this critical juncture. Dialogues and exchanges are all the more precious, and this also set higher goals and requirements for deepening civilization exchanges. The 3rd plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the CPC was successfully held not long ago, at which it adopted the resolution of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China on further deepening reform comprehensively to advance Chinese modernization, which Ambassador Masood Khalid gave a very detailed introduction. In this resolution, it is clearly pointed out that Chinese modernization is a modernization in which material and spiritual civilization are coordinated. China will further build the implementation mechanism of the GCI to continuously unleash the potential for cooperation in various fields and areas, enrich the content and the forms of global civilization exchanges, and improve the mechanism and platform for global civilization exchanges. The Chinese embassy in Pakistan is ready to work with all sectors in Pakistan to focus on building a China-Pakistan community of shared future, promote the implementation of the GDI, GSI, and the GCI in Pakistan so as to match the China-Pakistan all-weather strategic cooperative partnership and set a role model for other countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some time for questions and answers. May I request you to first introduce yourself, and then if it is a brief comment or question, then more number of people will have opportunity to have G, please.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Abdul Star Anjum, and I'm a retired person from agriculture. If I'm not missing, I must appreciate China for winning the most of the gold medals from Paris Olympics 2024. It's a great activity of China, as always. Excellency, I would like to share very old memory of my early childhood when I was a schoolboy in 1973 and 74. When I subscribed and bought China Ba Tasveer in Urdu, that was a China magazine. I traveled from China to Pakistan for better communication, where I learned the community and the Chinese women and farm home women who travel long distances from carrying their children on their backs to the high altitudes of the mountain to cultivate with their families, and how they make effort to grow forest vegetables and fruit plants and to prepare the herbal medicines, and how the community of China did a lot of implantation around the Yangtze rivers to check floods. A lot of success stories spread everywhere in China. And we can understand a lot of lessons from every walk of life of China if we want
सब
to.
questions पे आ जाएंगे तो जरा
Uh,
जी question.
Not, thank you very much. It's only memory I would like to share with you, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's all right,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Amir Jangir.
Thank you very much, and it was a great opportunity to listen to so many great people. Taking lead from Dr. Yasser's presentation, what we have seen is that China has contributed a lot to build the relationship between Pakistan and China. But the weakest part still remains the people's diplomacy, the people-to-people collaboration. And maybe in that particular area, maybe China needs to refocus its approach towards Pakistan, that other than government, it needs to identify new partners as well. And I think this approach will bring new narratives also, because if it remains with the government, it will always be about development, security, corruption, anti-corruption, and all those issues. But if you bring that conversation around people, it will be about prosperity, benefits to the people, how people will be looking at China as a friendly nation. So I think there must be, so I just wanted to know what would be the approach to look into this aspect as well. Are you considering that, or do you think this is an approach that you would like to explore, or the current partnership is good enough?
Excellency. Take another question. Ji, please up.
My name is Salim Ansari from Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. Well, we have been listening to some excellent, very good initiatives initiated by China. Well, we know that South Asia is one of the poorest regions in the world. And unfortunately, in this region, the governments are spending too much on defense and other expenditure rather than on poverty alleviation. My query is that can China take a lead and initiate some peace and strategic arms limitation treaty in this region, which would be very beneficial for our masses, people. Thank you.
One more question, and then we can ask the panelists to respond. Okay. जी अजी माइक दे दें, माइक दे दें.
Thank you, Dr. Rasa, for the opportunity. This is Dr. Rizwan Nasir, Senior Research Fellow in Stock Regional Studies. My question is to the Chinese representative from the embassy. This is an age of narratives. We are living in an age of narratives where a narrative is built, it is executed, and the political, economic, and strategic objectives are achieved through that. There is a term, debt trap diplomacy, which was coined by very common scholar, Brahmachalini, but it was used by the Mike Pence, Donald Trump, and it became a buzzword. Chinese tried their best to counter this kind of narratives. So my question is that the Anglo-Saxon media day and night is promoting this kind of narratives. What is a strategy? This kind of Belt and Road Initiative, CPEC, is a bilateral win-win game, but this kind of narratives are hurting this objective, which is a bilateral win-win situation. So what should be the strategy to counter this kind of narratives? Your response, please.
Answer? Okay. Panel. you may start from Rizwan's question.
Yes, Rizwan, it's a very important question, and it's very close to my heart as well, because while working as Director Media in Center of Excellence for CPAC for 5 years, the prime responsibility was to debunk such narratives which were emanating from inside Pakistan and also from afar, from different countries. Let me tell you one important thing, that this is very common. As you mentioned, that we are living in the world of war of narratives. And millions are being pumped in for this purpose from different countries, especially from developed states, to make up a narrative, to inculcate such kind of misleading narratives into the minds of people so that they can be detracted for something which is so beneficial for the nation. For example, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, for 3 years, common people, naive people of Pakistan, they were completely in the dark that what China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is all about and what are the finances. So it's very easy to manipulate such kind of narratives. Now the thing is that we need to understand that such kind of narratives are being constructed and then deconstructed, which in other words we call it as fifth generation warfare or hybrid warfare, media warfare. I think on part of Pakistan's government, when I was at the helm of affairs, Pakistan has done a lot. And then doing the same job in my personal capacity as a journalist in China, I've realized that China is also under the same fold where there are a lot of narratives against the Belt and Road Initiative. And this all comes under the policy of China containment policy. I think working for China Global Television Network now, this is also my prime responsibility to debunk such narratives. And I think China is doing very well. In terms of CPAC, Pakistan has done a lot, and I think it needs time. It takes time. There are ideas which needs to be hammered in the minds so many times that it becomes a reality. If they can twist the facts and do it, why not we unleash and unlock the potential which is true to Pakistan, and then we can go on from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just give a brief response. Firstly, thank you for your questions and also share your feelings for the seminar. And I think all the questions are very important. First, the question is for the people to people. I think is interactions. Actually, for the China-Pakistan relationship is always the priority of the diplomacy of China, and also the always strategic cooperative partnership is not only for the government, but also for the Chinese people, and also for the interaction. There is not lies in the G2G, but also from people to people. For example, the ruling party of China, the CPC, has, I think, a very good relationship with all the political parties, all the main political parties of Pakistan. And the relationship and the friendship is consensus for all the political parties. But sure, in the new era, there needs to, we should work hard and push for the more interaction between people to people, and also from the Chinese side, including the embassy. Every year, we have held many activities face to the people. Just the last, just in this month, last week, the embassy also held a ceremony to distribute the food package to the Balochistan peoples. And also every year we suggest the scholarships not only for the federal government but also for the different provinces. The many young peoples, they get the scholarship to study in China. And also we invited many scholars, experts, and think tanks, and even the medias to visit China and also to bring the Pakistan's experience and proposal to the counterpart of the Chinese side. And I think in the future, the people-to-people, the interaction will be more and more. And the second question is for the narrative, especially during this new media era. I fully agree with what Mr. Yashir said. We have done a lot, but also need improvement, and also there need time. The CPEC is a flagship of the B&I. And in the last 10 years, the two governments has worked together and changed a lot. We all can see the fundamental construction, and also the electricity has changed a lot. Not only to see in this year, we will be the second phase of CPEC, and changes the focus not only in the construction, but also to the cooperation in many new areas. For example, the agriculture, mining, and IT. There are so many work to do, but frankly, we need to change the narrative ways, because in Chinese, our philosophy is do more, say little. But I think in the current times, we believe we not only to say what we not only to listen what the people say, but we need to watch what they have done. But for our side, we need to adjustment and improvement, and I believe we can do better in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me.
And we can take another set of questions.
Additional to Mr. Yang, his information which he just assigned, I would like to offer some data. 2023, HEC from Pakistan, we offered 360 scholarship to go to China to study, and China offered 480 to Pakistan to study with 4 scholarship. And currently, there are 40,000 students from Pakistan. They are in China for bachelor, master, and PhD. Meanwhile, China 2022 end, we started our vocational education law. 2023, President Chairman Xi Jinping started vocational education go abroad. So this year, 2024, including Pakistan BTech, started cooperating with China, with the Dongbei University and other universities. Totally 78 universities got union and started this people-to-people talk.
Thank you, Ms. Shang. We can take another set of questions. Purush.
Thank you, Mr. Yang. That was a fantastic presentation. I have 2 questions. One is, do you think under this initiative, does in the component of innovation and modernization, does China intend to build this world-class tech university in Pakistan? That's question number 1. Question number 2 would be, since 2013, I mean, I sit with quite a few business leaders within this country, and it sort of struck me that in the last, say, 10 years, how many business companies have been able to register themselves in China?
G.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Tayyaba Khurshid, Research Officer, Center for International Strategic Studies, Azad Jammu and Kashmir. The China's Global Civilization Initiative have been highlighted through various presentations, and it is an amazing initiative, but we have to look at its implementation, because when we will look at the Western world, we see that the United States is coming up with strategies to contain China. So there is a world order which is even governed by United States of America, and they feel threatened by the rise of China. So how China will be able to overcome the challenges that are posed by United States of America? Because when we look up at the policy of the United States, for example, National Security Strategy 2022, National Defense Strategy, their threat assessment reports, and whatever policies you see over the past few years, all of these policies highlight that China is a threat to United States of America. So when we say that it is a China's global civilization initiative, how China will be able to dialogue with those Western powers that are trying to contain it and that are imposing hurdles towards its peaceful rise? Thank you.
Thank you, Taiba. A question?
I am Anam Fatma from Hausheng News, research analyst. My question is to Dr. Masood. You have mentioned indigenous resources, right? That helps in the promotion of civilization initiative, shared civilization. So how do you think, considering keeping in mind the regional grievances, how these regional or indigenous resources would help in promotion of shared civilization? Thank you.
Thank you. Excellency, first two questions for you.
I will try my best. First of all, this means the question about actually is a question about China's diplomacy. As we all know, the core idea of China's diplomacy is several words: peaceful, and also coexistence, and also the philosophy of win-win. Even we face the contain and also I think from the other countries, but I think for all in the future we only need to do in these ways. The first is the self-development. We do what we need to do, and we do the best. And also the second is there needs the joint efforts and also the help from the neighbor countries, especially from our ironclad friends, brothers of Pakistan. And also the third is just like President Xi Jinping raised the concept of the shared future of mankind and also the common prosperity. That's my answer. And also for this lady's question, I think the second question of the number of the interperials registered in China, actually I don't know the exact number because I'm not in charge of these areas. But I think, you know, from the 1978 China, the opening up and reform policy makes many foreign companies. They set up the company in China, and I think there are also many Pakistani companies did very well in China. And also for the first, you need the, I remember is the top university, set up a top university in Pakistan. I think from the Department of the Education, there is a goal, and also maybe they are working on that because I have worked here for 2.5 years, and also have contacted many young people from Pakistan, and also I find that they are all very talented, and also they are good at not only learning, but also they want to share their feelings and also their talent with the outside world. So I think that's the most important factor for not only for the education, but also for the country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasser. Would like to respond to.
Okay. If I understood your question correctly, you asked me that how indigenous resources could be of help. I think I spoke about the Pakistani characteristics, and there is a reason, because no model or template can be replicated in its entirety. whether it's Pakistan or China or any other country for that matter. And even if we look at the China's progress or China's prosperity, it was in through China's characteristics, through China's indigenous resources. By indigenous resources, I mean the indigenous potential, and we have a lot. As I mentioned, we are the second youngest population in the world, and then the problem is, I think there is a lot of homework to be done before we learn from the GCI. I mentioned in my speech that we haven't worked on the reforms. How many our students in our curriculum knows about the Islamic or Pakistani values? Why Pakistan's official language is not Urdu? So there are a lot of questions to be answered first, and then we can move on from there. I think, let me give you an example. This just came to my mind. When we talk about the ancient Silk Route, Ibn Sina has written a book, wrote a book on which was called the Book of Medicine in Bukhara. Through the old Silk Route, the book has gone to Europe. It was translated in Latin and then many other languages, and then taught in European universities for 500 years. So this was the legacy of the old Silk Route, which has transcended beyond boundaries and beyond continents. I think we look at the bigger picture, but the bigger picture is GCI, but the narrowed down picture is Pakistan. I think a lot of groundwork needs to be done first, and then we can learn big time from the GCI. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasser. May I request a brief interview? Sir, please. Please.
I'd like to share my thoughts, personal thoughts on few issues which have been raised here. First of all, the containment policy of the United States. One should look at the evolution of China's development, China's progress of the last 40 years, or about 45 years, that it has been a peaceful rise. China has not gone to war for all these years. And the basic tenets and the basic principles which are being advocated by the Chinese leadership and the party is, as Xi Yang mentioned, peaceful coexistence. China does not want to disturb or wreck the international order, but China wants the protection of its legitimate interests. This is an international order, an architecture, political architecture, financial architecture, which was erected, which was created after the Second World War. So it served its purpose, but now adjustments have to be made in the light of ground realities. So this is what China is saying: more participation of developing countries, more equitable, relationship, and on the basis of partnerships, win-win propositions. So for China, the priority is to achieve its national rejuvenation goals, and China is very serious by 2049. So one by one, incrementally, China is moving in that direction. China does not want to get embroiled in any conflict or in any fight, because that will mean that the gains which China has made in the last 45 years will be squandered. So Chinese leadership is very pragmatic, and this is misplaced, this China containment thing, because the Chinese and the American economies are contributing more than 50% to global growth. They are closely intertwined, and the global economy hinges on their relationship. So everything is going to unravel itself if this kind of competition or rivalry reaches a point of, if it is precipitated. So this was. Secondly, so there's as Ambassador Sohail Mahmood said, that these BRI and these three initiatives give a new paradigm, suggest a new approach to issues of global governance. It's very important, like global governance and security for all. Now, about this narratives, sorry, narratives. Yes, there is a wholesome drive and a very concerted propaganda going on to demonize China, to demonize BRI, and its foreign policy, and even questions are being raised on the domestic, permutations in China. So, a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubts that China will not be. You pick up the latest issue of Foreign Affairs. There are 3 articles in that by Elizabeth Economy and Matt Pottinger. Read them. They are saying we have to win this competition. There's no way that we will let China emerge. So this is the perspective. So the point is that we have to be more proactive because the CPAC has delivered on ground to quite an extent. But Pakistan and China have to be proactive in countering this negative and false narrative which is being built, on like, for example, on the debt issue and transparency and this and that. So I think there is some kind of coordination, close coordination is required on building positive narratives. Our relationship is very important. On people-to-people connectivity, yes, that is an area where I find there is deficit and we need to do more. Chinese embassy, I know, is doing quite a bit, but I think you need to publicize your, whatever you are doing in terms of donations, in terms of scholarships. I think this requires. I would like to mention Ms. Xiang here. I met her first time, I think it was 2014? Yeah, 2014. In Suzhou. And she had arranged an exhibition in the University of Pakistani Handicraft and Pakistani Products. And since then, it has been a journey which she has, followed, and now she's sitting in NUST and I think doing the same job. But that was really a very positive, image I got. About sir, aapki jo baat hai on what was this strategic arms limitation, I think for the time being it's a no-go area. You know what India did to our strategic restraint regime. So, but yes, rationally, if we start thinking along those lines, then this area, this region will be peaceful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ambassador Shahjamal. Last question.
All the initiatives taken by President Xi are very welcome and are appreciated by the Global South, and it kindles the hope in all the countries which want to achieve a shared prosperity and a shared common civilizational approach to it. I've been reading in the American press a lot of report on decoupling. Now, decoupling, Chinese are putting a brave face to it, whereas there are congressional committees supervising the implementation of the decoupling process, where there are laws enacted to ensure that there are no more investments from China to America. Those are curtailed. No AI technology is transferred to China. Microchip technology to be completely denied. I want to understand from the chief guest as to how much this policy is hurting China. If you would like to share that.
I think, just like Ms. Xiang said, I think also today we have also invited the delegates from the companies, and also I think their concerns and also their feelings may be more direct, and if possible, we can invite them to say.
Mr. Hank, Huawei Cloud Computing leader is here. I think he can share some experience, but not directly the answer, maybe.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
You can see his
Mike
shirt is a Huawei Cloud Computing shirt. By the way, let me introduce, he's the first one who got the expert certificate in whole Middle Asia and also Central Asia and Middle East.
So the question is about the technology transformation here, transferring, right? Okay, so the experience is like in Huawei, 30 years ago, we just established the 3-person companies in Shenzhen, a small village who is living on fishing. So after 30 years, we are the top 1 in the carrier business and top 3 in the ICT, we call it support enterprise and government. Number 1 in the electronic vehicles in China, and also top 5, including all the top cloud providers. So about the technology, actually, at the beginning, we don't have nothing from a scratch, but we invest a lot on the R&Ds. Based on what? It's not based on the zero, it's based on collaborations. So if we're looking about today, Pakistan, actually Pakistan talents already have very good base foundations. And here we employed around 3,000 Pakistani workers, not laborers, it's exactly engineers support our global customers. So at the current stage from China, I'm talking to all the industries because cloud computing is the foundation for the transformation. So I got a lot of insight, and also who is willing want to bring that technology to come to Pakistan. Lots of like solar panel, solar convert, which is highly required in Pakistan. Technology producers and corporations. So solar panel systems, inverter systems, and also including the e-vehicle systems, including the agriculture machines, including some other ICT corporations also. So we see we already have a good foundation which is based on the CPEC and also the good relationship between China and Pakistan. But how to land it is the problem. Or it's a question, it's not a problem. Based on my experiences, the openness from both sides is the common requirement for land any technology transformation. Currently we talk to the SFC, currently we're talking to the government, the PM houses, currently we're talking to the lots of institutions, universities. We're trying to bridge it, and we're trying to mitigate the gap between the communication, between the different interests. But the openness is the foundation. That is my point. For one doctor from CAS, he already landed some project in the Faisalabad universities, which helped the farmers to get the climate report and the information on time. So we already have lots of successful case. So this is my just some experience when I worked here 3 years, and from my point of view, that everything is going on the right direction and how to say, fruitful direction. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request a brief intervention by Ambassador Sohail Mahmood over various points raised by you.
Yeah, very quickly 3 points. One, Ambassador Shah Jamal's decoupling. Indeed, the story started from decoupling, but then it was considered and recognized that there is too much of interdependence and it's not easy, and the impact would be on the American economy also and global economy as well. So now we have moved to the area of what is now called friend-shoring, near-shoring, and concepts like safe and secure supply chains and value chains. So China is obviously looking at these things, very cognizant of how these things are happening. The interdependence, economic interdependence between the two powers is certainly there. And obviously there are people who see that how it would be hurting the American economy. That said, since this agenda is moving forward, China is taking countermeasures also, and in collaboration with its own partners, economic partners, and with other regions, it is deepening its integration, and it also is working to further develop its domestic market so that whatever shocks come because of the so-called friend-shoring or near-shoring, China is able to absorb the consequences. On the question of containment, Taiba, China and its leadership is fully cognizant of what is going on. This containment train has left the station in Washington. Now, how to slow it down if it cannot be stopped or reversed. And the global initiatives that President Xi Jinping has taken are in part a response, a global strategy on the part of China to reverse these trends. You know, in terms of the political messaging, you constantly hear the refrain that there should be no Cold War mentality at work, there should be no zero-sum perspectives at work, there should be no bloc politics or confrontation. But in practical terms, China is going global. BRI was the first installment, and then you have seen the Global Development Initiative, Security Initiative, Civilization Initiative. They all reinforce each other. But last part of your question was, how is China engaging with the Western civilizations which are out to contain China? There too, the efforts are ongoing. You have seen at least 2 fruitful meetings at the summit level between President Xi Jinping and President Biden, both in Bali and in San Francisco. And Chinese refrain is, or emphasis is on 3 things: mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win outcomes. And if you look at it, China's political philosophy, China's approach or alternative paradigm has much greater traction worldwide and within the global south as compared to the containment theory and winning of the new Cold War or whatever. And I think China would have to continue to proactively follow this strategy. My last point is about the narrative. Of course, it has been noted that this is a period of hybrid warfare. I think we have to understand that this is essentially a function of 2 things. One, the global power contestation that is taking place. So the idea is that if you cannot compete, start discrediting. So all the initiatives and whatever the benefit they bring to the partner nations, there is an effort to create doubts about those things and introduce terminologies which will confuse people or put doubts in their minds. And the second is the function of the dominance of the Western media. So you coin a term, you throw it, and then people sometimes uncritically start adopting it and using it, and then that spreads the narrative. So as Ambassador Masood Khalid said, critically important that both Pakistan and China, in the case of our CPAC and association with BRI, we proactively counter that. But at a larger level, 2 things are important. One, it's a great saying, quote, seek truth from facts. So I think fact and fiction need to be separated. And 2, I think we have to lessen our reliance on the Western media outlets, apart from, while enhancing these civilizational links and all that, we need to have alternative media outlets where the rest of the world, and especially the Eastern perspectives, also get the traction and their message gets across. So I'll stop.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now request Ambassador Khalid Mahmood, Chairman, Board of Governors, Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad, for a vote of thanks and concluding remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Director General ISSI, Ambassador Suhail Mahmood, the keynote speaker, Ambassador Masood Khalid, guest of honor, His Excellency Xi, and other distinguished panelists. We have heard very erudite presentations on the subject of the seminar, and I think it all revolves around the question, what kind of world order one should have. There is one existing world order, dominant one, the Western, which was created following the World War II. It had many good points, but also it became clear that that is not the only answer to the problems the world faces, because it was based on Cold War mentality. It believed in the finality of their own structures and approaches, and also it tried to enforce it through pressure and coercion, not through participatory means. So here comes then the Chinese version. The Chinese concept is that all civilizations have merit in them, but you have to coexist, and that you have to coexist and cooperate, and through dialogue find solutions which are common to all of us. Objective is same, but the approaches can be different, and all the approaches have to be respected, because each country, because of its own history, culture, religion, they all have different approaches, but it doesn't mean that they are wrong. So you have to find a common factor through dialogue, and that is the purpose, the driving force behind all the initiatives which China has taken. First at GDI, Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and now Global Civilization. Because these three things are interconnected. For security, you cannot ensure security unless there is development. You cannot have development unless there is security. And all these things have to work within the framework of a given civilizational context. So that's why these three initiatives, they are interconnected, and they are a continuum, and happily that this approach, Chinese approach, is gaining now momentum and growing support, and it was also reflected in the adoption of this resolution at the UN General Assembly, that 10th June would be a day of inter-civilizational dialogue. So of course we have to be vigilant about the challenges which this approach, Chinese approach is facing, and rightly pointed out that we have to work harder to build up counter-narrative and also to promote greater people-to-people contact. And that is, I think, the gist of what I can take from this meeting. But of course, I would like to conclude from where we started, that is expressing our jubilation over winning gold medal at the Olympics. So congratulations to all.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the end of our today's event. I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Ambassador Masood Khalid. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Mr. Yang No, Minister Counselor, Embassy of China. I would also like to express my gratitude to the panelists, Ms. Yang, Dr. Tahir Mumtaz, and Dr. Yasir Masood. And I also thank you all for being here, spending time out of your busy schedules. Just refreshments, and before refreshments, we have a brief segment of group photograph. Thank you very much.